giant
Okay.
asshole?
Because I get so impatient.
Oh, with the youths
Yes.
and the not sleeping.
She literally would not stop moving. Like, I was getting tired just watching her.
Is she like trying to stay up, or is she like she couldn't get comfy? Oh, you don't know.
I have no clue. She's usually my good sleeper, but the last month or so, she's kind of not been, but it's gotten worse the last couple weeks. I even dosed her with shit.
Yeah, you really
no,
want to
now
answer.
that there's a long
You really need to answer that.
shoot, it starts with an M, and
Melatonin?
not melatonin.
Okay.
No,
Meth.
the other one. No,
That definitely wouldn't work.
no, that would have the opposite. It seemed like she was on meth, but allegedly she's not. Shit, what is it called? It doesn't matter. I've delayed this recording long enough. You don't need to listen to me try to figure out what that's called.
Well, don't you wish you had magic?
Magnesium.
Oh my god.
And magic, yes.
That was fucking terrifying. Oh my god. Well, what would maybe work better than magnesium is magic, and that is my segue to today's topic. We are talking about a very, very beloved series of the 90s, beloved for us, but also beloved many people our age. And let's see, it spanned 7 years over 7. Nope, starting that again. It spanned 7 seasons over 7 years. It started in the 90s, and it is none other than Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Talking about. Whoop, whoop. So Breenie. So a quick premise for those stupid idiots who might not know what the show is about. But the series revolves around Sabrina Spellman, who at the beginning of the series is 16. She's sent to live with her aunts because her mother is doing like, I think, paleontology shit, and her dad's with the Foreign Legion. So she goes to live with her aunts, and they are going to train her how to be a witch. She doesn't know she's a witch at first, but once she does, she has to, of course, learn how to use her magic. And throughout the early seasons, she navigates magical hijinks and high school, and mostly it's a bad mix of the two. And then later on, she does finally graduate high school, and we follow her through college and whatnot. Apparently, this was something interesting. So the showrunner, Nell Scovell, what a name.
That's an amazing name.
It's such a cool name.
Nell Scovell?
Scovell. I mean, it's Scovell. That has to be Scovell.
Nell Scovell.
Nell Scovell. I love it. So I read this E-Online article, and first of all, I have never visited like any of these sites before, and I was really proud of not going to like E-Online and shit like that, but now with this podcast, I find myself there. Anywho, so in that, she had said that originally one of the, like, a head of the network wanted one of the aunts to not want Sabrina to move in with them. Like, they wanted some conflict between her aunts, Zelda and Hilda, on that. But she pushed back, thank God, because she was like, that seems really, really sad that, like, this girl is already, like, not with her parents and being sent to live elsewhere. Like, I don't know who that network was, head of network person was, but shame on them. That's a terrible idea. Obviously, it didn't happen. Her aunts are very zany and fun and loving and just plentiful, hijinksful. Sorry, I'm
exactly what I would have said.
I'm on my 3rd cherry cider because I was waiting for you. So I started with 1, and then I was like, well, I guess I'll open 2. So here we are.
That is my fault. Apologies, everyone.
That's okay. How about we just scamper into some trivia? So, obviously, you remember Salem the cat.
Obviously, best cat ever.
Do you remember why Salem is a cat?
He did something bad. Didn't he try to take over the world?
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, he tried to take over the world, so he was sentenced to live 100 years as a cat. And this is the part that I forgot, and this is maybe the best part. He was sent to live, because then it's like, well, why was he with Hilda and Zelda, right?
Yeah.
So he was sent to live with Hilda because she was part of the refreshments committee for his like evil regime.
What?
Yeah, she's just I don't know, providing juice or whatnot, and so
The
her
refreshment. I mean, I guess everybody's got to have refreshments.
yeah
So why don't more evil regimes have refreshment committees?
yeah it
I
would.
don't remember that part at all.
Well, I didn't either. I'm so glad I came across this, but because I was looking up, I was like, why was he like? I knew there was a reason he was sent to live with the ants, and I immediately was like, it has to be Hilda. Like, there's no way Zelda was involved
Yeah.
in any shenanigans. It has to be Hilda, and it definitely is Hilda. Okay, question.
Also,
Oh,
like, I would love to be punished by being turned into a cat for 100 years.
yeah, Sabrina points out multiple times how good he has it, and he does
Hmm.
have, and especially too because like he still does a bunch of stuff in the show. We'll talk much more
Yeah.
about Salem later. We're going to get to our second question of what is the TV series based on? I thought you froze,
Like,
but you're just confused. Like,
no, I am.
oh, did you think it was an original? Like, it's the IP. It started with the TV show.
I don't know what I thought. I'm really tired. Um, like like a book. Is that what you mean? What do you? I don't
Yeah, like
understand.
should I just tell you the answer? Are you forfeiting?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
So
forfeiting.
it's Sabrina, the character in Sabrina the Teenage Witch is actually a 1960s comic book character. And it's
Oh,
from Archie's Madhouse, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, it's a very old comic book.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, this one it might be a little trickier. Can you name any witch rules pertaining to this show in this world?
Mm. I'm gonna go with like the standard magic rule of like you can't make anyone fall in love with you.
I'll allow it. Yes, it's what I was because I was refreshing on this. Um, it's like love is so personal that to try and make like a potion for it or something like that is really difficult to do, and so you can kind of recreate aspects of it, but you can't really make a real love potion. Also, it's real skeezy to
Okay.
try.
Yeah, because consent.
Consent, everybody. And then one I love is on Friday the 13th, you can tell people you're a witch and they'll just forget at the end of the day. So in season one, there's an episode where she tells her friends, she tells Harvey and her friend Jenny that she's a witch and they have a great day. And then it's really sad. I remember being sad watching that because then they just like forget and, they go back to normal plebe life,
That
plebing.
is sad.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way to test too on your friends. And then if they freak out, it's like, well, that's okay.
Can you imagine too? Then
And
you
then
just
get
like,
better friends.
yeah, you drop them the next day and they have no clue why. And you're like, well, you're just a skeezy bitch. Like, I don't know what to say, Harvey.
Like, I just know stuff about you now, okay?
I just know things. Okay. All right. Final question. What guest stars can you name?
um, God, I know there were so many. Was NSYNC was on an episode,
Yes. And they're truly like you could name anybody from the 90s who has name
and they've
recognition
been
and they
on
were
it.
probably on this show because everybody was
Okay.
just dying to be on it.
Was Brad Pitt on it?
I actually don't know about Brad Pitt.
Okay, well, fine. Um, Shoot, it's like I know you're gonna say these things, and I'm gonna get really mad at myself because I know. Um, all the '90s knowledge has left me. All the knowledge that served me so well this far. Okay, hold on. I'm buffering.
Okay.
What about? What if I just fell asleep?
It'd be really annoying to have to like pick this up tomorrow after work, so I would love it if you didn't.
Okay. Um, were there any other musical
Tons.
guests?
Tons.
Tons of musical guests. Okay,
Truly
fantastic.
name somebody from the 90s.
Were Backstreet Boys
Yes.
also on there? Okay. What about Jessica Simpson?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Nick Lachey?
He wishes.
He does wish.
No,
This is one regret in life.
This is brutal. Think bigger names.
Think bigger.
Think one of the biggest names of 90s music.
Britney Spears.
Yes. Ding, 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 motherfucker. And you got this question right. We also had Coolio, Usher, Paula Abdul as Salem's love interest. Things are wild. And RuPaul. And that's just like some of them. There were so many guest stars. You know who played the actress Milo? I can never remember how to say his last name.
Milo Ventimiglia?
Yes, from Gilmore Girls. Yeah, he was even in it. But this was obviously, I don't know if he was really a guest star then, because it would have been, I think, before. It was more of like, kind of like a cameo.
I love him.
Yeah, well, he was in it.
I just love him.
He was in it.
Oh.
So yeah, seriously.
That's why I know how to say his name so well.
Yeah, you can tell that dedication, pronunciation, true love there. So yeah, that was something that was just wild though, was like seeing, and I remember there were like lots of guest stars now. It came back to me when I was like looking it up. I also remember sometimes there were guest stars that like mom and dad knew that we didn't know. Like there was Dick Van Dyke, which like you and I had no clue. We're like, no. But like you could tell somebody was on there that was a big deal, but not always like as a kid. You'd be like, who is this? Excuse me, Dick Van Dyke, but like who is this old guy just like hanging out talking to Brini?
Right.
Yeah, but it's really really cool. You gotta look up that list.
Okay, I will.
Now I thought I wanted to cover it, since I'm covering a TV show. I kind of wanted to cover it a little bit like you have in the past, and walk us through one of the episodes. But first, I feel like I have to introduce the cast. So we have obviously Sabrina Spellman, who is played by Melissa Joan Hart, who we've talked about in our Clarissa Explains It All episode. Shout out to MK. Next we have Hilda, who is played by Caroline Ray, and Zelda, who I love, who's played by Beth Broderick. Harvey Kinkle is Nate Richard. Libby was played by Jenna Lee Green. Jenny, who's only in season 1, and I have a little bit more on that, was portrayed by Michelle Beaudoin. I'm so sorry. I forgot to look up a pronunciation because I'm a dumb, stupid idiot. And then...
Is it Ventimiglia? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes. It's just spelled with the B and doesn't have the same letters.
I got you.
Yeah, you know. Mm-hmm. And then one of my absolute favorite characters of all time, Salem, which Caroline Ray describes as looking like an alcoholic rabbit wearing a hairpiece regarding the animatronics.
It was so good. I fucking love that animatronic cat. I love him so much.
We're going to talk about him later, but he was voiced by Nick Bakay. I'm pretty sure. I looked up how to say that. I had to watch so many clips until somebody said his last fucking name. They'd be like, and Nick, and I'd be like, no, I need all of it. And then because Salem was not just portrayed like his voice, he also had a physical presence. So the cat actors, there were anywhere between 6 to 5. Don't laugh. This is important. They did their work. Sorry. Riley, please show some fucking respect. What have you done? What have you done?
I don't know. I can't even put kids to bed. You're right.
Sit down.
You're right.
Show some respect to Elvis, Lucy, Salem, Witch, and Warlock. And I feel...
Sorry.
Madam, you're being a prick right now. And even though these cats are dead, respect their goddamn memory. There's some that I know I'm not naming because Melissa Joan Hart says there were 7 and I could only find the names for 1, 2, 3, 5. So there are 2 unnamed.
They forgot one?
This is okay. I am going to tag. I'm not kidding. I am going to tag everyone I can find on social that worked on this series. Cast, crew, I do not fucking care. Britney Spears, guest star. I want to know all the names of the cats. Once again, I was able to find Elvis, Lucy, Salem, Witch, and Warlock. God. Ronaldo. This is really important to me.
You've never called me a prick before.
Well, you haven't acted like one until now. And I'm ashamed and appalled and disappointed.
Okay.
Warlock, I wanted some history on them. Warlock came in because Elvis and Witch passed away during the filming. So why are you laughing at this? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're going to hell. You are going straight to hell.
I don't know. I'm so sorry. I kind of just like cracked. Okay, let me get it together.
You look like a mess. Oh my God. Keep it together. We're not even like halfway through.
No, we're not.
I didn't think cat names would break you.
Okay.
Can you take a screenshot of you dying? Because I think we need...
There's so much snot.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to edit out like the next 18 hours because you're just dying. I'm going to grab a drink. I'm going to let you collect yourself.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Do you need to get a tissue?
No.
You were literally like crying.
I am, because this is what pent up stress over a week looks like. You broke me. Okay, tell me about the dead cats.
That's all I have on them right now. So we're just going to move on to the episode if that's okay.
Yep, that'd be great.
Okay, so the first episode of the series opens, it has like that iconic music intro, and then do you remember how Sabrina would always be trying on an outfit and there'd be like something quippy? I lived for that part. So in the first one, she's dressed as a witch and says something like, I don't know if it's really me, which is hilarious because she doesn't know she's a witch, but they got us good.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. So it opens with Sabrina is levitating in her sleep, which apparently just like happens when you turn 16 as a witch. And her aunts are just
seems dangerous.
Yeah, it seems real dangerous. I guess it's like have a good mattress. So she's levitating there and her aunts are watching her and like, woo, she's a witch, happy about it. So she wakes up, goes downstairs before school, is like I think she's like a freshman in high school. So it's a terrible time to just exist. And her aunts, Hilda, which played by Caroline Ray, and Zelda, played by Beth Broderick, give her a present. This part, watching the show now as an adult, I am seeing myself in ways I never saw myself before because you and I are these aunts. So Zelda has the gift wrapped and Hilda just immediately is like, oh, this is from me too. I just forgot to sign the card.
Weird.
Yeah. It's just, I was like, God, I feel seen and I don't know if I want to be. Anyways, it's a cauldron.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a cauldron, and naturally Sabrina's like, okay, this is fucking weird, gotta go. They try to tell her she's a witch, and she's mostly is just like, hey, well, thanks for like distracting me from starting school because I've been like real nervous about it. She just kind of
is that a before the school day conversation?
Yeah, right. They're just like, hey, by the way,
like, oh, real quick, come here for a sec.
Real quick.
You're a witch. Okay, love you, sweetie. Goodbye.
Enjoy the cauldron. So she goes to school. I guess she doesn't really know people that well, and she's in her science class with Mr. Poole, who is also, God, he was famous for something else.
Paul Feig. That's Paul Feig.
Oh, wait, who's Paul Feig?
That's Paul fucking Feig. Look him up. He directed Bridesmaids. He does lots of other
Paul
stuff.
Feig.
Paul Feig. Yeah.
PF. Changs.
PF. PF Breeny.
PF Breeny. Love you, Paul.
Yeah.
Sorry. I should put some respect on that name. My bad.
You should.
I should. First the cats, now Paul. Who else will we do dirty in this episode? All right, so
everyone.
Paul Feig is directing the classroom to dissect some frogs, and Sabrina does her little, I realized I was doing a motion on camera, which you can't. Yeah, she does her little doo-doo-doo-doo with her magic pointer finger, and she brings the frogs to life. And it's just kind of funny. And she's also like, wow, that's really weird, but that wasn't me. And then there's just like some bullying. We're introduced to Libby, and Libby it's a very 90s like insults, like, hey, freak. And she tells her, like, from now on, you use the freak's bathroom. And it's so, because I remember Libby being so mean and intimidating, and now I'm like, I would just like suplex the girl. Like, if that was the kind of bullying I dealt with in high school, I'd be like, hell yeah, I can deal with this. I can just beat the shit out of this girl. I can drop her. So there's some really wholesome, lovely bullying. Sabrina gets home. Sabrina gets home, and her aunts, they're throwing her like a little birthday thing, and they're like, hey, your dad got you this present, and it's this huge ass, very much a witch book. It's just so witchy, and it says something witchy on it. Oh, most important part from this episode, Salem is in an adorable party hat.
Yes,
and it's
I loved all the little costumes they put him in.
Gorgeous. Apparently too, sometimes it was real cats in costumes. Yeah.
Don't
Sorry, we're not ready to go back anymore. We're not ready. Okay.
No.
So she like opens the book, and there's a picture of her dad, and it starts talking to her very like Harry Potter style.
Yeah.
Or I guess, was this before? This was before. So Harry Potter.
It was before Harry Potter.
So it's Sabrina style. I love that series. We can't even right now. We can't.
No, we can't get into it.
Not now. Anywho, so she thinks everybody is fucking crazy because they're like, yeah, so like your dad also, like, he's a witch, you're a witch, we're all witches. And she's just like, I'm going to go. And then Salem asks if he can take off his stupid fucking hat. And then she kind of loses her shit because the cat just talked. She runs out, and the book follows her upstairs. Book dad tells her once again, as a magic book will do. Book dad tells her once again, like, you're a witch and I'm in a book. And he has this she says something about, like, I thought you were in the Foreign Legion. I have to say, the writing is actually really fucking funny. Like, it hit. And he was like, I am. It's just a little bit more foreign than you thought. And it, like, I was actually laughing during that. Like, there are some, I was wondering if I was going to watch again and be like, man, this is really hokey. And like some of the, like the bullying is definitely toned down because you're not going to have, like, on this family sitcom, you're not going to have teenage girls bullying like they usually do, which is like, hey, you're a fat virgin. So, like, you know, it's like freaks and you're a loser and Harvey doesn't want to date you. But like some of the jokes are really fucking good. So anywho, back to her dad in the Foreign Legion. She's just like, I want to be normal and not a witch. And he's like, well, you can't. And so she's like, well, can I just go live with mom? And turns out she can't be. Might send you, and I'm really concerned. She learns that she can't live with her mom because apparently if she looks at her within the next 2 years, her mom will turn into a ball of wax.
What?
Yeah.
What's... It's just like, is her mom being punished, or is that just like, this is our family thing? Well, you can't look at your mother for 2 years.
No, her mom is immortal. Not immortal, amortal.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what? Okay, amortal.
Yeah, her mom does not have magic, and her dad is a warlock. So I guess this ball of wax thing just is like to discourage mortal witch marriages, her dad says. So it's...
What?
Yeah, I don't...
So... okay, but does her mom know she's a witch?
Oh, for sure.
And that's why they sent her away?
Yeah, for shiz.
Because she didn't want to turn into a ball of wax?
For shizzles.
Okay. Do I have any other questions about this arrangement? Nope.
Okay. Cool.
It all tracks.
It does track. So the aunts are the dad's sisters.
Okay. That would make sense, I guess, because they're magic as well.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Then, oh my God, Sabrina asks if this is like, if this whole like witch mortal thing is why her parents broke up, and her dad says no, and then she hopefully asks like if they'll ever get back together again, and then her dad, like, the actor sincerely delivers the line no, and it does kind of a callback to an earlier line about, I think when she was like, I want to be normal, I think he says something like, well, that ship has already sailed, or that train has left the station. And so he does a callback to that line when he's like, no, that ship has already sailed. And for some reason, there's a fucking laugh track that plays here, and I just think it was mean.
Right. It's like, it's not, that ship has already sailed isn't like a funny, like, oh,
Yeah.
ship sail.
Well, it was, I don't know. I really liked how the actors delivered the back and forth. It was like very sweet and kind of sad. And I just want to know why in the editing room they're like, he did a callback to this line. Let's make it a haha moment. Anywho.
Right. Because it's a sitcom.
Yeah, sitcom. Because sitcom. So the day goes on. Sabrina's now like, cool, I'm a witch. What can I do as a witch? And she goes back downstairs, and Zelda starts teaching her, or is trying to teach her how to turn an apple into, I think, an orange? No, an orange into an apple. My bad. So just very, very basic magic. And Sabrina keeps turning them into pine apples. And
way better.
Well, way better. What I love is, once again, just I just see us sometimes in both of them, but in this case, like a little bit in Hilda, because Zelda's trying to be encouraging. She's like, apple, pineapple, that's very close. And Hilda in the background is just like, no, it's not.
They're not close at all.
Yeah. And then comedic gold, the next scene opens like on a close-up of a juicer and pineapples, and then it's just like Hilda juicing a bajillion pineapples. And Sabrina is still, she just really wants to get this right, but they're like, we have so many you can't go to school.
Please stop. Stop making pineapples. So we can juice no more.
We can, well, the pineapples appear just throughout the whole episode. It's very pineapple themed.
That's awesome.
I remember this episode. I didn't realize it was the first one.
Okay. I am not remembering a whole lot so far.
Okay. Well, maybe you'll remember this. So she has to go back to school, which sucks because she thought like maybe as a witch I could just like not, but it's not how it works. Like there's this funny exchange, and other than just being humorous, it's also helpful for defining some of the rules of magic in this show, and also showing there are still stakes. Like she can't just, like she still has to go to school, and like her magic can't do everything. So like one of those things is they're like, you're going to be late. And then she's like, well, I'll just like turn back time and then I won't be late. So they tell her, you can't do that as just one witch. You can do it as a few witches maybe, but you need approval from the Witches' Council. And then also we learn, even more importantly from Hilda, that magic cannot get rid of cellulite either. So there are limitations.
Nothing can.
Nothing. Truly nothing. So back at school, Sabrina's talking with Harvey, which is her love interest, of course, and her friend Jenny. And Libby comes over and she invites Harvey to a party, and like obviously very much does not invite the other two girls, and then totes spills her juice on Sabrina, which leads to the great fingering. And yes, I did cackle. I did cackle as I typed that. Despite being warned by her aunt, Sabrina points real angrily, like a lot. There's like tons of pointing at Libby as she's like yelling at her. And then there's a motherfucking twister in the school, and Libby has turned into a pineapple. And this just
in front of everybody?
Well, because of the twister, everybody looks up and they're like, where did Libby go? And she's like, I don't know. Who knows? She ran, twister, bitch, scared. I just... This reminds me so much of in Buffy, where like a bunch of wild shit happened around Buffy and people just kind of were like, yeah, it's just fucking weird here, man.
Yeah. And it's just been like a really crazy week.
Yeah. And that kind of happens there at Sabrina, where people are like, man, shit's just, sometimes there are twisters inside and shit's weird, and people just go with it. And I kind of love it because I sort of feel like that is the vibe of like high schools and colleges. Is like weird shit will happen, you'll be like, man, that was crazy. Like somebody used to scale one of the buildings at our college, like scale up a tower and put a pumpkin on it, and it would just show up sometime in October, and we're just like, yeah, no, it's crazy. Anywho, moving on. Like, you just accept.
Is that weird. A real?
Yeah.
Did you make that up? No. Or is that's a real thing that happened in your life?
Yeah, like somebody would put their climbing gear on and climb this huge tower on campus and set a pumpkin up, and the university would be like, hey guys, look, we might be fine not reporting various rapes of students on campus, but we care about your safety when it means there could be a lawsuit involving us and a student falling down with a pumpkin.
Yes. I mean, that's a serious offense.
Yeah.
Now I kind of wish I would have gone to college.
You would have loved the outside of school part.
I would have loved the outside of school part. I would have loved the mysterious pumpkin.
We should have gone to college together because you could have still gone. We could have gone to all the parties together.
Okay. Or not gone to all the parties together. Okay.
Well, no, I partied a lot. So you would have had to go with me or just be at home.
I've already been people's mothers at parties. I don't need to do that. I was never able to let loose because I was always like, okay, we need to get you home. Like, you have to come with me. Like, no, you can't invite that man up to the room. I'm sorry. We're going to go this way. Like, put your big girl pants on and let's go this way.
And sometimes,
wear your shoes.
Literally put your pants on. Yeah. Yeah. No, I had a friend who we ended up, Mom, maybe skip like the next 30 to 40 seconds. We ended up in this guy's basement apartment. He had self-pierced his balls, so when he walked around, it just sounded like he had a ton of keys in his pocket when he had none.
Oh.
And then he wanted everybody, and he was like way older than us. I mean, we were 18, 19. He was like in his 20s, like mid-late 20s, and then he wanted everybody to play strip poker. Or no, sorry.
He did.
Even worse, strip twister. So much worse. So,
oh, fuck off.
Yeah. And so I was just like, abso-fucking-lutely not. So we played some board game with his creepy friends, and then I got my friends out of there, but one was super trashed and needed to pee. So she was like, I'm going to pee in his lawn. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, fucking pee in his lawn. And then I had to try and drive her car, and it was a manual, and I do not know how to drive that. I also wasn't familiar with the town. So we were just driving around. I pulled into a bank, and it was like, this had to be like 1 a.m. I pulled into a bank parking lot because she was like, I am going to throw up. So I pull over, and she's like puking in the bushes. And then we just look over, and there's a guy with his car in front of the bank, and he's just loading huge black trash bags into his car, like full of something.
Sid.
And we were just like, look, man, you do you, we'll do us. Friend,
like another crazy day in college.
Crazy day. It was bananas. We got her back to the dorm, and then a friend and I, we like changed her clothes for her so she could be in pajamas, and like got her into bed, and then we stuck a bunch of sticky notes on her door to like let her know where things were. And we also didn't want her leaving, so we taped her keys to the ceiling so that like she couldn't get them.
That's brilliant.
And we put a little sticky note up there with like, hey, you were wasted. And yeah, that was one of the nights of my freshman year. It's good times.
Wow. Okay. Again, nothing quite that wild. Mostly just like, I'm ready to go, and you need to be ready to go as well. And I don't want to leave you here to die.
Yeah, no, that's fair. There were a lot of times like that. There were, man, I gotta share some stories.
You do gotta share some stories. I gotta live vicariously, I guess, because
there are so many stories. Anywho, let's get back to the great.
We should talk sometime.
We should. Let's get back to the pineapple and the great finger wagging. We'll say.
Okay, that's better.
You know what's
Thank
fun?
you.
Really, I felt like finger wagging sounded worse than fingering.
No, fingering is worse. Fingering is worse.
Okay, well,
no, stop it.
We'll do a poll. So
this is the poll. Fingering is worse.
So Sabrina brings Pineapple Libby to her aunts, who have more pineapple desserts on the table. It's so good. And Hilda goes, I can fix this. And she sets Pine Libby down and then pulls out a huge knife and says, chunks or rings. And this is the kind of aunt I want. Like, I hope I am to your girls.
Yes. That's ride or die.
It was beautiful. That like Zelda is the voice of reason and is like, no, there is another way, to which she says something like slices. I can't quite remember, but it was great. It was great. So ultimately, Pineapple Libby is fixed because thankfully, one, Sabrina only knows how to turn things into pineapples, and two, she doesn't know how to like set and lock her magic so other witches can't undo it or circumvent it. So it was very easy for her aunts to do that. Libby always also obviously like freaks out. It's like, I'm going to tell everybody you're a freak. Sabrina is losing her shit here because she's like, oh my God, my life is ruined. High school. And her answer, Hilda's pretty much like, toughen up, which I also loved, where she was just like, yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
Deal with it. I mean, and so Sabrina really wants to be like, can we please all three of us turn back time? And the only way to do this is to go to the witches' council. So they bring her to the linen closet because if you remember, that is where the witches count. Like that's the portal to the other realms. She goes there. Not very shockingly, they deny her request to turn back time because a popular cheerleader thinks she's weird. But like she kind of accepts it, and it's just like, Libby thought I was a freak anyways. So like I might as well just go. Like every school needs a freak, and goes to school, but Hilda, like Zelda kind of pushes Hilda to talk to Drell, who is her ex, and he's on the witches' council, and she is kind of scary. It sort of sounds like she maybe attacks him, but yay, Sabrina ends up getting her little do-over day, and the day starts over, and Libby doesn't remember that whole pineapple thing, and that is the I almost said the first season, the entirety of the first season. No, that is the first episode of the first season.
Aww.
Interestingly enough, so season 2, the premise, so like season 1, it's like her dealing with magic, school, blah, blah. Season 2 is she finds out like she needs to get her witch's license. She gets a personal quiz master, which is like the tutor, your personal tutor. And then Jenny leaves the show. I feel like my voice just, sorry, I've been sick, so my voice is a bit weird. So Jenny leaves the show. And Valerie, do you remember Valerie?
Yes, yeah.
So Valerie, played by Lindsay Sloan, appears to fill the place as best friend. I was wondering why Jenny left, because and this isn't about the actresses, this is just how the characters were written. I preferred Jenny to Valerie. Valerie kind of bummed me out.
Mm-hmm.
But Jenny was just kind of Valerie, weird and nice.
Yeah, no, I remember they were very different characters, and they really didn't seem to explain why one came on and the other one was gone. Valerie was super like insecure, wasn't she? And just like didn't feel good about herself like all the time.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like it made me really sad, but then other times it like, I don't like when good people are doormats, and I sometimes get angry, and even as a kid I would, and so sometimes I would just get like really frustrated with her character. The actress played the character well. I just preferred the Jenny character. I was kind of looking into why that happened. So there's this E! Online article I found where Melissa Joan Hart says, her quote is, "There's a lot of politics that go on behind the scenes. Like when a writer develops a certain character, they get paid on the likeness of that character for every episode." So then she goes on to say, like, if a writer develops a character, but that writer's gone and there's bad blood, they might get rid of the character they developed so they didn't have to pay them anymore. There are a lot of things that go into that situation. So I saw that mayhaps the writer who created Jenny was gone from the show after that, and then possibly they got rid of the character so they wouldn't be paying that person.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. What I did, it did not seem like the actress who plays Jenny said she did not leave like voluntarily. It was her character was written out.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And then, oh my God, season 3 is to get her witch's license, she has to figure out the family secret. And this is with do you remember this?
Yes.
And this is the one that has the Hawaii trip episode.
Okay. It's coming back.
Do you remember what the family secret is?
No, I really don't. Why don't I remember?
It's okay. I think it'll come back to you. It's that they all have a twin. So her evil twin is named Katrina.
Oh my gosh. Holy shit. Okay.
Is it coming? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then, the whole thing ends up being like there's a sacrifice on the volcano of like who is Sabrina, who's the evil twin and who's the good twin. And the reason they figure out Katrina's the evil twin is because she's like totally down to push Sabrina into the volcano. And I love that.
That's a giveaway.
Yeah. My friends also, and I also used to like, God, this was terrible to do for everybody's self-esteem, but it'd be like, hey, if you had to pick, like it's a group of 3 friends, it's like, hey, or 4. I mean, it had to just be a couple friends, and you'd be like, hey, if you had to pick between like me and insert other friend here, like if you had to like push one of us into a volcano, like you had to, who would you pick? We would do shit like that. Yeah, no, it was really...
That's bad for a friendship.
Yeah, I know.
Don't do that.
Well, it's too late now. I don't do it anymore, but that's also because I'm 30. It'd be weird.
Well, I am glad to hear that.
I do wonder, though. Like,
do you just eye your friends sometimes and go, would they push me into a volcano?
Yeah. No, at 100, I'm not even kidding, 100%. I need everybody to be ride or die. Like, I'm not ride or die for all of my friends, but I do want that from them.
You expect that back. Yeah.
At least for like my favorites.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
No, that's fair. That's fine. Okay, so season 4 is senior year. It's where she starts working at that coffee Fuck me. Okay.
The coffee shop.
Coffee shop. She starts working at a coffee shop. She meets Josh, who is, I think, like the manager there. And she's like kind of like going between Harvey and Josh. And then to pick who, like, it was like to pretty much to pick like who gets her or like who loves her the most. There's she has them do a competition, but she doesn't realize they're going to fight to the death. And
that's right.
Yeah, but Harvey ends up like he's such a good guy. He won't kill Josh, and pretty much like it. So it gets resolved. I don't remember how, but also like that'd be a lot of spoilers. And there's like 7 seasons I had to read up on. But what's important about this season is that Harvey has reached like his spell quota, meaning that spells won't work on him anymore. So he learns that Sabrina is a witch.
I remember that moment.
Yeah, because he wants to talk about it.
Yeah, he's like, hey, by the way, remember that whole competition you put me through, and you're a witch. Can we talk about it over coffee?
Yeah. So that is like the big thing with season 4. Now, after season 4, the show was moved to the WB, and it thus avoided cancellation. And then according to fandom.com, the WB wanted a more mature audience for Sabrina, which I guess you can kind of see in like the later seasons, because she is like out of high school, and also, too, what bums me out about the later seasons, like I liked watching her work at the magazine and going to college, and I loved Roxy and all of that stuff. But what kind of bums me out is that like Hilda and Zelda weren't in it as much.
Yeah, you're right. They definitely could have put them in it more.
Yeah, it was a bummer, but I mean, season 5 is mostly just about her dealing with college. She gets like the new roommates. It introduces Roxy. Season 6 is Hilda finds her true love, but Sabrina and Zelda, thinking that it's like too soon, kind of break that up. And then because it is in fact Hilda's true love, she turns to stone. Sabrina, I guess, sees her mom because her mom's like turned into a ball of wax, but Sabrina cries and her tears bring her back. However, she can never, ever, ever in her life look at her mom again, but her mom's just going to keep creeping around staring at her.
I don't remember it being so like witches and mortals can't be together.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was like such a huge thing with Harvey and Sabrina. It's like her having to keep the secret from him and it just being a...
Yeah, I mean, deal. I suppose the ball of wax, you can't look at your mother if she'll turn into a ball of wax. It's just really tripping me
up. I don't know why. I'm not sure why, but it's there and it's all I can say. So more people turning into weird shit. There are just like too many dudes who love her. So Sabrina just turns into stone and like crumbles. Oh, Hilda.
Wait, other than Josh, just Josh and Harvey though,
yeah,
right?
there's some other guy. I don't know. I didn't care about him, so I didn't write him down. Hilda did get turned back. Don't worry. And then season 7, the final season, I remember in the final episode, Hilda walking in with a candle that's Zelda, and I could not remember why Zelda gets turned into wax, but Zelda gives up her adult form to turn Sabrina back from stone. Sabrina is dating this dude, Aaron. They get engaged, and then Harvey's like still in love with her, and so the final episode is her running away on her like from the altar during her own wedding and going with Harvey.
Who the fuck is Aaron?
He's just
was he really in it, or it was just like
some
this
guy?
Is the guy I got engaged to?
I can't remember if he came in season 7 or 6 or something. It's just some guy.
Hold on.
Yeah, you look it up.
Okay.
I'll have some more
I'm going to see
cider.
if I recognize him. I'm going to say something that I feel like might upset some people, not that many people are listening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the Harvey thing.
Like why he's the one?
Yeah, like he was a nice guy and everything, but I don't know. I didn't feel like the chemistry was really there. It was just like, he's a guy from my high school. Other people like him. I like him. He's the one. I didn't like Josh either, to be honest. I thought Josh was a skis, but I don't know. I felt like she could have had a better romantic interest. Am I wrong?
No, I think see, as a character, I like Harvey. He's sweet, he's funny. He's a little bit like Archie. And even in the comics he was.
Dislike him.
As a love interest, it's very much what you get from TV shows of that genre. I think like the fact that she had more than one love interest is kind of surprising, because I feel like especially with like TGIF and WB and the CW, it's very much like this person is your love interest. And you might like date and sleep with other people, but it's like, this is just your love interest. And that's something that I think just happens with the teen genre.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably have to watch it again. And I like Harvey. Like, there's nothing wrong with Harvey. There was just a part of me that was always a little bit like, it didn't feel like it quite fit.
I just kind of wanted Sabrina and Roxy to be together. So like, I
could have, yeah, that could have worked.
Because Sabrina was such like a goody two shoes, but in a very sweet way. And Roxy very much wasn't. And I'm like, I love that pairing. I think it's like such a cute pairing, but obviously that was not happening in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, absolutely not.
No. Absolutely not.
It can barely happen now. This has been very long. That was I tried to do a quick recap of all the seasons, because I was like, there's so many episodes to watch. There's no way I can watch all of them. But then
no.
I did want to get into, because I find the history of how, especially when it starts as one media and the IP is turned into something, I personally just really like that. So I did a very teeny tiny dive on just some of the background of how it got made. So as I said earlier, the Sabrina character first appeared in Archie's Madhouse issue 22 from October 1962.
Wow.
And then Paula Hart, who is obviously Melissa Joan Hart's mother, was handed an Archie comic of Sabrina on a playground at Melissa's younger sister's school. And Paula just thought it would make for like an awesome TV show. So she had pitched the idea of the TV series. And at first, Viacom agreed to just a TV movie. Do you remember the TV movie of this?
A little bit.
Yeah, I obviously don't. I mean, it's one movie versus 7 seasons. I don't remember as well as the show, but I definitely know we watched it. So obviously they do the TV movie, and then eventually they agreed to the series in 1996. I did not realize, for some reason thought Sabrina came out in like later 90s. 1996.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Yeah. And it ran until 2003. In a Marie Claire article, Melissa Joan Hart said she, referring to her mom, always knew it'd make an incredible series, but no one would listen until she cut a trailer from the movie and pitched it to all 4 major networks at the time. And then what's kind of cool, one, I just like how she took it upon herself to be like, I'm going to show you what this could be, and like cut it and pitched it. I think that's pretty badass. And it ended up leading to a bidding war. In that same article, Paula and Melissa went with ABC because they just really loved the TGIF lineup. And then this is, I really hope they both see this. No, because I owe them so much. Most importantly, with Sabrina going to TGIF, it pushed Everybody Loves Raymond to a different night of the week. And I fucking hate that show. I just thinking about it makes me like livid. I think about like mom and dad having that on, and I do not know if there's a show or a movie or a piece of media I hate more than Everybody Loves Raymond. I fucking hate it.
Really?
I can't. I really, like, I'm actually getting worked up of like how angry it makes me thinking of like it being watched and just existing.
Really? Yeah, and they had it on a lot. I had no idea it was like killing you
Yeah.
inside.
No, it would make me furious when they had it on.
I mean, it's not my favorite, but
No,
I don't feel that
look at
anger
me.
towards it. No, I see
Fucking,
your face. I see
I
the rage in your
would
eyes.
watch Twilight to take back every time I have had
Oh,
to watch any part of Everybody Loves Raymond growing up. I would watch Twilight every night for like a month straight. And I also hate
that's
Twilight.
I know you do. That's why I'm aghast. I'm shocked. Also, I think we lost Mom as a listener.
You know what? I don't want those kind of people listening. Here. Okay.
I mean, it's not her favorite. I don't want to say that like that's her favorite show. She
Then why does
watched
she
it.
have
I'm
the
not.
back tattoo? Anywho.
No further questions.
Okay.
Anywho,
Any fucking who.
what are we talking about?
Back to Sabrina, which I would watch and love.
I know.
So, what I found very interesting is that Melissa Joan Hart is not like Sabrina at all. Like,
Okay.
you know, Sabrina in the show, her character is very. She is like a little bit of a goody two shoes and is like just very much like a wallflower. She doesn't want to stand out too much. She really wants to just kind of try play by the rules and get by and be normal. And Melissa Joan Hart herself has said, like, not, that is not me. I mean, in one, like a direct quote from one of the many links I have, is she said she called it playing against her type. She actually didn't have much in common with Sabrina and almost couldn't understand her wallfloweriness. But what she really loved about the show was that because it was like a magical show and Sabrina was always getting up to hijinks, it's like she constantly got to play different characters because she would play Sabrina, but then sometimes she'd be like playing Sabrina dressing up in like some silly disguise and playing a different character. And so she really loved, like, as an actor, getting to play so many different roles, which makes sense to me.
So do you think she was more like her Clarissa character then? Because Clarissa was very much not like Sabrina.
You know, it's so hard to say because I don't know her. I don't know her.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that changes things.
And I would need to watch like a lot of Clarissa Explains It All before I could make that judgment. But I mean, you know, like it was interesting reading interviews. Like she was pretty good friends with Britney Spears and like they would go out and party, and she did a kind of sissy cover shoot for, I can't remember, I think it was Maxim. I don't think it was Playboy. I think it was Maxim or something. And
it sounds like probably Maxim, yeah.
And just things that, and this isn't a criticism, they're just like not very Sabrina like. And to me, yeah, I kind of like it because she pulls off Sabrina so well that it is cool. Like I like when you find out actors, I mean, it's always fun when you find out they're similar to their character because, you know, you already have a connection to the character. So it's neat, I guess, if you want that parasocial relationship. But I find it really impressive when actors are not like their character but are able to pull it off so well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
This part is for David, and it's about the robot cat. Since David didn't know that Salem was not just constantly a real cat because he's a dumb baby.
Oh, we're all dumb babies.
I mean, like I said, I was devastated when I found out that one Salem, like when I was a kid and I found out because Mom and Dad told me that they're like, that's pretty much a fancy puppet. And then it broke my heart. It was probably junior high-ish when I started to realize that animals in films were not just played by one animal, which makes sense because that would be incredibly unethical. Like Air Bud, if you had one golden retriever on set for like 16 hours, that would be fucked.
Of course. But I remember having that realization too. Like, no, but it's Air Bud. Like, what do you mean it's a bunch of different dogs?
I know. And it's like weirdly upsetting. You feel lied to and betrayed a little. Yeah. Or at least I did.
And he can't talk. Wait, could Air Bud talk? Air Bud couldn't talk. He could just play basketball.
I don't think he could talk. I think he just
I don't
rocked
think
at
he could
sports.
talk.
Have you
Yeah.
seen this? It was like somebody's
Oh
tweet or
no.
something, but they're talking about like, imagine being like the dad and going like driving like 3 hours to your son's game just to see him get wrecked by a dog in a jersey. I can't remember what the exact quote is. It was a great tweet.
I wouldn't be mad. I would not be mad if I got to go see a dog play basketball,
Be
even
like,
if it did smoke my kid. Like,
be like,
that's just
hell yeah.
life.
No, that's just
That's
life.
how the b-ball bounces.
That's how the b-ball bounces down that field right into the end zone.
Down that field, swish, dribble, score, as we say.
As we
on the
say,
field.
On the field for our b-ball games. So more
Of life.
More about the lies behind this is Unmasking Salem. I forgot to, who the fuck is this quote even from? I just put the quote in and I forgot to say who it's from
Salem.
or where.
It's from Salem.
I'm so sorry, but anyways, one of them said, we had about 7 real cats at any one time on set and 2 animatronics, one that sits and one that lays down, and 2 stuffed animal type cats that we used for rehearsal or any sort of silly torture we had to instill on the poor guy. We would toss Stuffy, as we called him, in the air and drag him along the floor. Anything we couldn't do with the expensive puppet or a real cat. Look for it in the show. Once you realize what it is, it's freaking hilarious. That was Melissa Joan Hart, now I remember. So that is all I have for like history and the current show. I wanted to transition sort of to, I guess, like the end part of just how has the show survived? Has it held up? Etc. Etc. As you know, there is a new Sabrina. I don't know about you, Chilling Adventures. I watched, you're doing a little thumbs down. I watched the first
I
season.
didn't like it.
I liked the first season and then it got way too CW. I know it's on Netflix, but it got just like very CW.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean though. Yeah.
And for me, I was bummed because I actually liked, especially since they didn't have the original cast, I thought it was a good idea to go in a different direction. And I really liked the idea of it being spooky and creepy. But then it just, as this, like the CW effect is just like too much drama, too convoluted, too many plot points.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even get that far. I think I only made it through part of the first season, and it was maybe a bit too creepy for me, but it also just, I didn't really like any of the characters. I didn't even really like Sabrina that much. And I don't know what I would have wanted, because I wouldn't have wanted them to remake it like a sitcom, because that wouldn't have held up now.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't work now. I wouldn't have wanted them to try to do it that way. But I also didn't like this. So I don't know. It kind of seems like one of those things that maybe just needs to like stay as a nice memory, and you just rewatch the 90s version, because that version is beautiful and perfect.
Yeah, it's just, this one is definitely not for me. Like I said, I liked, overall, I liked the first season, but I agree with you. I don't know how they could have done it in a way where I really would have liked it. I did read not the entirety of the comic run, but I did read the 2014 comic that it was based on, and it does divert from the comic a bit. And the comic was really creepy and just kind of like, it's weird. I like horror movies and stuff, but with books and comics, there's a certain kind of creepy that it almost just like bums me out creepy. It doesn't like scare me. It just makes me feel like kind of gross and like bummed out, and then I'll bail on it. And I bailed on that one. It was.
Yeah, I think I don't mind creepy as long as it's like done well. Sometimes creepy, if it's not done well, can just, it kind of gets into almost like the gross out territory, or like the gore factor, and I'm not into it. If it's like smart and makes me think about stuff, I'm like, okay, I can stand the creepiness. But
yeah, and I guess like I appreciate the kind of gore I appreciate is like slasher film, just like kind of a silliness to it, a camp to it. I don't actually tend to like gore in things with a serious tone. I think that's what it is. Like, it just, because for the most part, it seems like you can be creepy without it. And I'm also like, I'm just so tired. Like, I'm just so tired. I don't vibe with this.
I don't need to see that.
I will say, oh, no, you go.
You go.
I will say I really enjoyed watching the actors, Beth, Caroline, Nate, and Melissa, Nate played Harvey, they watched some clips or something of the new Sabrina, and it was kind of funny watching them react to it because they were just like, what the fuck is happening? And there was this part where so Beth goes, like, Sabrina and her friends do something really fucking insane, and Beth just goes, we would have never allowed Sabrina to behave that way. And then Caroline goes, I like her though, she's political, little Sabrina, she's quite empowered. And it was really funny watching like them react
That's
to
cute.
it. But
yeah,
I dipped out, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, I don't really feel like I'm missing that much.
This we've talked about like throughout. I just want to know if you have any other, like, if you can think of any other connections to the show and the series, just to wrap this up.
My oldest did watch a few episodes actually and was really enjoying it and like loving it, and then got obsessed with something else, as only 9-year-olds can do. So I was watching it with her, obviously, and like I was surprised at the amount of times that like I genuinely laughed.
Yeah, no, the writing is really, really funny. And apparently, this is kind of cool. The actor who voices Salem ended up writing something like 12 episodes.
Oh,
which is really cool.
He had some of the best lines.
I sent you like a compilation of just Salem clips because he was
Yes.
always like
Oh my
our
gosh.
favorite. And that
he had the best lines.
And I remember it was one of the shows that Dad actually liked, and he like loves Salem,
Yes.
but he actually like liked it and found it funny. And
yeah,
once again,
no,
Dad,
that's
highest compliment. Dad never likes things.
He doesn't like things except for Everybody Loves Raymond.
I can't go back there right now. I just calmed down.
I think that's part of why I like Salem so much, though, is because he does, like, I think of Dad when I think of Salem.
Me too.
Because he really loves the animals in most of like the shows or movies we would watch. Have you noticed that he really gravitates towards the animal character?
I think it's because they tend to be the comic relief, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that is it. But God, freaking, I watched that compilation. I was dying, and I just love his little.
God, I use the GIF of him sharpening his nails all the time. There's so many good little Salem GIFs. And then I don't know if you know this, but in I think middle school, because we were no longer at the Z house, we were at the other house, and I would go through periods where, I mean, I think they were just like depression, but I'd get really locked on to like some piece of media for comfort. And I, at one point, got really locked on to Sabrina again. And so I used to record with my VHS player. I used to record episodes so I could always have them to watch if I was feeling sad. And I bet I still have those VHS tapes somewhere in Mom and Dad's basement with like a bunch of episodes.
They are there. Oh, that's so sweet. And little did you know, you dumb baby, that you can just watch it whenever you want now.
Well, now I can. And then I don't think you watched the animated series. Do you even know there was? I think it came out in like 1999, and it was set when Sabrina was 12. What was kind of fun is that Melissa Joan Hart voiced one of the aunts, and then it was her younger sister who voiced Sabrina in it.
Oh, cute.
And
sorry, I'm just looking it up.
So Emily, her younger sister, also played. Do you remember Amanda, the Dawn of Sabrina?
Yeah. Wait.
Her evil-ish cousin? No. You do. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah. And
yes.
Yes.
Okay,
so
okay.
That was her little sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which makes sense now.
She was the one that tortured Salem, right?
She did a lot of fucked up shit. That kid was scary. Well, yeah. But anyways, yeah, her sister it was Amanda in the show, and then in the animated series, she voiced Sabrina, and that was just about like it was weird because it was like it takes place before the series, but it canonically it doesn't make sense because in the animated series, Sabrina knows about witches and stuff, so it's just it does make sense.
Oh yeah, that
it wouldn't work, but it was fun. It was like she couldn't do magic yet because she wasn't 16, so there was a cookie jar with a genie in it because and she would get spells from the cookie jar, and it was just lots of mischief. So I remember I watched that, and then I remember we both played the video game a lot.
I was hoping you were going to talk about that. I remember the video game more than the. I'm looking at pictures of the animated series, and like it looks familiar, but I don't think I like actively watched it.
I don't remember. I remember watching it by myself mostly, but I do remember us playing the PC game, which was
Yes.
like very just like click and point type of
Yeah.
style as games were at that time.
Like our Andrew adventures.
Back in the day.
I know. I'm like, what did we do in the like?
In the game,
I remember playing the game.
so you have all these little items on the bottom of your screen, and you're in her room, and you have to try and match. So like one of the items is a little bottle with a dropper, another is a microphone, and you had to figure out from her spell book sort of like a riddle on how to get the ingredients to reverse the spell. So it was a lot of that.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious. You and I both think this stands up.
I would say it does.
Yeah. I think the only thing that does not stand up from it is, do you remember the character Roland?
The name sounds familiar.
He was like an adult guy, and he always was pretty much he was like quote unquote in love with Sabrina, and he would always try and like kidnap her and shit.
Oh my God, hold on. I need to see faces. Oh. Yeah, that's God, I forgot about that, but now that I see his face, that's weird. Why was that part 90s. Of the plot?
But remember, he showed up in quite a few episodes, and even as a kid, they made me really uncomfortable. And I remember being like upset that everybody else wasn't more upset, like in the show, because I was like, but she's a kid and he's a grown up, and it's like against her will. And now, I mean, now that would be portrayed much more, I feel like, in a horror vibe than in a comedy vibe. But even as a kid, like the comedy vibe of that always like really upset me because it like he scared me.
Yeah, I had totally maybe blocked that. Maybe I blocked that.
So that's like the only stuff. That's like the only bits I remember that I was like, don't like this.
Yeah, I'll have to watch for that if we watch more Breenie, so that I don't have to try and be like, yeah, that's not okay. Oh no, I had a question for you earlier.
Oh yeah.
Salem's last name, Saberhagen. Is there any like significance to that?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I don't know, but I will look it up.
Okay.
I can't find anything about why his name is Saberhagen. However, I did find spouses, relatives, or significant others, children's relatives. His wiki, I just find it so funny because he's a cat, but it's like nationality, American. His cousin, Cheryl.
Cheryl Saberhagen?
Cheryl. There is let's see, he has an uncle named Morty Saberhagen. His grandpa's Humphrey Saberhagen, Grandma Julia, Trumful, and then probably Saberhagen.
They really had his character fleshed out, didn't they? Good for them.
They did.
Well, shit. I thought there had to be something behind that, because I'm like, it's a very unusual last name, but oh God.
I can hear tapping.
That might be my knee against the chair. I don't know. I have myself really scared. I'm sure I think it's fine.
What is that tapping sound?
Well, that is actually my knee against the chair in front of me.
Are your dogs inside?
No.
Oh.
But like when I came down, my oldest wasn't like technically asleep. So I think what I'm doing is just like thinking that like I hear her coming downstairs or something. Probably. It's fine.
Comforting.
I mean, even if Daisy was inside, like she's not going to do anything.
No. That's good.
And point. Duke's gone. Duke's hunting.
Oh, yeah. I like how...
And yes, I have dogs named Daisy and Duke, but that was not intentional, and I hate it ever so much.
I also like how you're like, Duke's hunting, like he's gone off by himself. He's taking his truck up into the high country. Oh.
Well.
We covered a lot. We scared ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think it's time to wrap it up. Anything else you have to say?
No, I just hope I'll be back for next week's episode.
Just text me when you get upstairs.
Okay. My phone's almost dead too.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well,
I hope I wasn't too much of a dud. I was self-flagellating because I wasn't very patient with my kids earlier. So
I mean,
I was a little off.
I am getting over sickness. My throat kind of hurts again. So, you know, it is what it is. We did the damn thing.
We did do the damn thing.
We did it.
And I really liked hearing about Brini again. And I'm going to watch more episodes with my girls.
You should.
Next week,
Ooh.
I am covering what I now know is not your most hated media.
Incredible.
I'm covering the Twilight series.
Okay.
It's gonna be something.
Okay, well, man, I could wait, but I'll see you next week. Loca.
I feel you remember too much. Like, you remember too much about it. I mean, you're basically an OG Twihard like me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, you went to the theaters
because you
to see
made me. Look, we're gonna hash this out next week. We're gonna hash this out next week.
Okay.
All right.
Be ready. Hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
Hate you. You've reached Sid
and Riley.
We can't come to the phone right now,
so leave a message after the beep. Ruining Our Childhood was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Psych. But it is produced by us, Riley and Cassidy.
With music by Joseph Tuna Medish.
You can follow us on Instagram at Ruining Our Childhood Pod.
Or send us an email at ruiningourchildhoodpod@gmail.com.
Support the show through our Ko-fi account, ko-fi.com/Ruining Our Childhood Podcast.
Later.